You can hear me.
Yeah, how you doing, my friend? Got a bit of a tan going on. Cyprus is treating you well?
Yeah, the weather's good here. So different climate, different treatment on the skin. I'm not complaining.
Yeah. So Zerbi is now officially the manager. What's your take? Are you happy?
Well, I'm not bothered because Zerbi in, Zerbi out. For me, nothing changes with Enoch here. So it's Enoch out. That's the only way anything changes. That's not going to change. With regards to Zerbi, what will he do under Enoch? I don't know if he'll keep us up or not. That I don't think anyone knows. The football will improve. The football will be much better, be more attacking, more possession-based, more front-foot football, the so-called Tottenham way. I think we're going to win more games than what we've done in the last 2-3 years. But eventually it's going to crash and burn and all hell's going to break loose and he's going to do a Conte and storm out the building and he'll get sacked. Whether it's 18 months, 2 years, this project won't last. It's a ridiculous appointment for the long term.
Yeah, I hear that, but in terms of just your personal view, isn't this what you want? Someone who's going to call out the board, someone who's going to hold their feet to the fire, and someone who isn't going to take any shit from them.
Yeah, absolutely. But unfortunately, that's not going to change anything because for me, I think our fan base have shown that they're not prepared to do what is needed to remove or force change from Enoch. So even if Zerbi blows it up and he walks out the building, the fans will just say, oh, he's got to go. He's out of control. He's too volatile. We need someone that brings stability. That'll be the excuse. And then the next guy will come in.
So you worried actually that, he might get those wins to keep us up then?
Delegation isn't about wanting relegation, right? I know you're trying to trigger me, Ben. See what you're doing. Yeah.
You said you want to go down. You said you want relegation. That's what you said.
That is delegation. That's what delegation means, isn't it? It's wanting relegation.
Delegation squad is growing. The army is brewing, right?
What is delegation? What is delegation?
They're going to be lining the streets soon. The Stelegites.
The Stelegites. What are you talking about? The delegation squad. It's the delegation squad. So I don't want relegation. I want the fan base to stand up to this ownership. I want the fan base to say enough is enough. But because the fan base isn't prepared to do that, my argument is only relegation will force the fans to turn. Only relegation will force the ownership into a different path in terms of its behaviour towards football. And what you're seeing now is a panic move where they've completely crapped their pants. A guy that didn't want to come to us until the summer because he wanted to see whether or not we stay up. He's now said, yeah, okay, I'll come. Why? Because he's demanded the terms of this contract. He's completely in control of the direction of Tottenham. Give me a 5-year deal. I want £12 million a year. I want this. I want that. And Spurs have basically caved in. They've given him everything he wants out of pure panic. This is exactly what happened with Conte. We approached Conte. He said no. We panicked. We didn't know what to do. So we said, right, come back to us. We'll give you £20 million a year. 20 million? Yeah, go on then. I'll have some of that. And he's come. So Zerbi isn't here because he loves Tottenham. He's not here because he truly wants to build something that will, in future years, look back upon and say what a legacy he built. He's here because of the money. He's here because he knows he's going to earn a ridiculous sum of money each year. And if it all goes wrong, he's going to get the biggest payday that any manager's ever been given in terms of compensation. So his number one driver for being here, guys, is the money. That's why I don't see how this is going to work.
But isn't it nice to see Enoch on the back foot a little bit and actually a manager has, I wouldn't say he's got more power than Enoch right now, but he's actually well within his rights to call the shots because he's like, you know what, I'm going to blow this shit up if you don't give me what I need and what I want.
Yeah, look, I see your point. It is great to see Enoch sweat, and it is great to see them having to cave into a manager's demands. But see, the problem we've got, guys, is this: he's locked into this 5-year contract. Now, if we get relegated, from what I've understood, he's going to stay at the club. There's no exit relegation clause.
Relegation clause, apparently, yeah.
Right. Is De Zerbi the manager for us if we're in the Championship and we have to ship out a whole load of players and we can't afford to bring in new players? Is he the manager for that?
I think he'd be fantastic for us in the Championship. I really do.
Okay, if that's the case, then we need to get relegated more than ever. We must get relegated.
Why?
Because all the people that say to me, oh, if we go down, we won't come back up. Well, we've just secured the number one ability of coming back up, which is De Zerbi. He'll be fantastic in the Championship. So listen, let me sell it to you. We get relegated. Enoch feel the kind of financial distress that they just don't want to consume. They're petrified of that kind of financial pain. The fans will be in uproar because we're no longer in the in the Premier League. So the fans will turn on Enoch. Enoch will feel the pain of it. We'll be forced to rebuild, hit the reset button with a completely new team. We'll have to use academy players. We'll have to develop talent instead of thinking we're going to buy random players that never develop. And we've got the man to do it. And then we come back up into the Premier League, bigger, better, more structured, with the nucleus of a team that we can now build on. We need to get relegated, don't we, guys?
No, we don't. We need to stay up. They've got a manager, which, like you said, if they sack him next season for blowing up, for not getting what he wants, they're going to have to give him a world record fee, a world record compensation package. They're going to want to try and avoid that at all costs. Because if they do end up sacking him, they're going to have to give another manager an even bigger pay packet to come in, and then the whole thing recycles again. So they've got to back him. They have to. They've got no other way, surely. Like, they can't avoid... I know that, but they can't avoid another season like that. They have to.
Ben, I could go back on your channel and grab about 10 clips where you've said we've got to back him, we've got to back him.
What choice do they have?
Whatever manager, right? This is exactly why I don't want us to stay in the Premier League, because we're about to hit the rinse and repeat button. We've got to back him. We've got to back him. They're going to spend big in the summer. They're going to throw the war chest at him. Even De Zerbi has put out a statement that Tottenham's a big club. I want to build something. I've heard it all before. Guys. This is exactly what I said would happen. If we stay in the Premier League, Enoch are going to sell us a new story. The fans are going to jump all over it. And we're all going to think, hurrah, this is the moment. We go through this every single time. This guy's not even a winner. This guy's never won a sausage in his life.
But still, even if they don't do that, there's a chance. Obviously, there's a high chance that they don't do that. But if they don't do that, then this guy is going to blow everything up in the press, out in the open. He's going to show these guys up for what they really are. And, I think it's a win-win.
It's a win for De Zerbi, not for us. Because if he blows it all up, the fans will turn against De Zerbi. Oh, he's lost control. We said this would happen when he joined. We all knew this wouldn't last for more than 18 months. What's happened? And what do you think the fans will do? Do you think they'll turn against Enoch? No. They'll start saying, right, now's the time to bring back Poch. We've got to bring back Poch. And by the way, all those stories about us signing Conor Gallagher, we signed Conor Gallagher because Poch is coming back, and Gallagher was great under Poch. That was an absolute false dawn, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
They had nothing. Again, but Ben, this is my point. These are the stories that get peddled. These are the stories everyone jumps on, and then everyone says, "Oh, just wait till Poch comes back. You'll see how good Gallagher is." Well, Poch isn't coming back, and I've been saying for the last month, I don't think Poch is coming. I don't think this board are interested in anything to do with past sentiment, which is why they never looked at Redknapp. They were never going to consider Sherwood, and it's why Poch. They haven't spoken to Poch. So they don't want to go back. They don't want to go back to things that the fans can relate to. They think they know better. They think they know what they're doing. This 5-year deal, it really, really, really just stinks of desperation, guys. I don't think there's any plan in this.
Yeah, because we are
I think
desperate. We are desperate.
And look, it might work, it might not, in terms of getting out of the relegation, right? I don't know. When we signed Tudor, I was not for that. When we signed Frank, I was against that because I said I think we need to keep Ange after winning that Europa. With De Zerbi, I don't actually have a position on it. I don't know if he can or can't keep us out of relegation.
Well, what do you think of his?
It's high risk.
Yeah. What do you think as a manager, his body of work before joining Tottenham? Before we got this deal agreed, are you a fan of him? Like, do you like the football he plays, tactically, that kind of stuff?
All right, taking my ENIC out, fan culture at Spurs and all that hat off, put my coach's hat on. I think he's a fantastic coach. I think as a coach, he massively overperforms at smaller level clubs. The work he did at Benevento, Sassuolo, even at Brighton, getting Brighton 6th place in the league is unbelievable. His actual coaching is very, very good. He's exactly the kind of coach that I like. His football is exactly the kind of football that I like. I also think he's a good developer of players, especially younger players. And I think that tactically, he's probably going to be one of the best managers we've had in a long time, tactically. I like what he does. The big questions on De Zerbi are, number one, you've never actually won anything. And that, for me, is something that always...
The Ukrainian Super Cup.
Excellent. Not getting it over the line smells of the issues that we had with Pochettino. He is volatile, and we are a club that is known for not being able to handle that kind of drama and toxicity, and things go from 0 to 100 very badly. And he is a manager that will instigate that if he feels like it. And the other just concern I've got with De Zerbi is the way he plays football has got limitations. It's a bit like Ange. Ange's system is heavily dependent on having outstanding players in certain positions to pull it off. If De Zerbi isn't given those players, eventually it won't work. It will work to a point, a bit like Poch. Poch's system worked to a point, but then if he's not back those extra 2 or 3 superstars, there's limitations. And it's the same. You could say that for pretty much any manager, let's be honest, actually, not just De Zerbi.
Yeah.
If he's not given those players to play his specific system, and he's having to then create a player to play in a role that they're not suited to, then his system, it comes unstuck and it gets picked off. So I guess these aren't so much limitations with De Zerbi, they're more limitations with ENIC.
Yeah.
These are more actually, as I'm thinking about what I'm saying, these are more limitations of ENIC. But as a coach, Sim, I really like him. He's not a coach that I'm against. He's not someone that I'm saying, why are we hiring him? I don't like him as a football coach. I like De Zerbi's football. That's exactly the football that I could get on board with.
Well, go on.
Let me ask you this, Stel, because we've had many conversations over the season, saying, Thomas Frank ain't getting this team to perform at the level that they actually are. We think they could finish in the top 10 with the squad that we have now. Igor Tudor, it got worse. Do you think De Zerbi can get these players performing? Maybe let's say we start next season in the Premier League. We probably will sign someone in the summer, but let's say we don't. Where do you think he can get this squad finishing?
Is that without being in Europe? So no European football?
Yeah.
Definitely top 8. Assuming there's no injury crisis. With a real push and a bit of good fortune, I don't see why we can't get top 6.
Yeah.
But
that'd be major for us.
That is me being very, very, the best possible season. Because I still think, regardless of what De Zerbi can do, I think our front 3 are absolutely dog shit. I think this is the worst front 3 I've ever seen at Spurs, maybe ever. I don't rate our front three at
Still,
all.
how mad is that, though? We're talking about the prospect of playing potentially championship football next season, but you're saying that if De Zerbi could start the season next year with the same squad, we can finish in the top 6.
Yeah, but no, hold on. I think top 8, not top 6. Top 6
You
if
said top
everything
6 out
goes
of
to plan.
Yeah.
If Solanke scores 20 goals, if Richarlison scored 12 goals, if Tell actually scores goals, then rather than just, lots of energy and good crosses, if he actually puts the ball in everything has to work.
Well,
everything.
Madison
Then,
and Decky back fit kind of thing.
Yeah, everything needs to click. Then top 6. But otherwise, I think top 8 is the best that we would achieve next season. Realistically, it'll be mid-table. But I do think without Europe, because Ange got 5th without Europe, but he had Heung-min Son, he had a Brennan Johnson that was scoring goals for him. We had Maddison that was on fire. He had Kulusevski. So we had a lot more to that team than what we're seeing from this lot.
But you firmly believe that a Roberto De Zerbi can get these players playing to their level, if not better, is the main point.
Yeah, he's a coach that suits the squad.
Yeah.
But again, that's not going to happen in 2-3 games. When he went to Brighton, he didn't win any of his first 4 or 5 games, guys.
Yeah.
He's one of these coaches where what he wants will come through, but there has to be a period of patience for it. Not, 3 to 6 months patience that kind of Frank maybe needed. No, De Zerbi, you'll see the signs within 2 to 3 months. You'll see De Zerbi ball beginning to come through, okay? Whether it manifests into results or not might take a little bit longer, but yeah, I'm confident he will get these group of players playing a kind of football that they can play, which we saw under Ange to some degree. We did see it to some degree under Ange. Just it was very patchy though. But is he going to do that in the first 3-4 games? Highly unlikely. But never say never. But highly unlikely.
In terms of his man management style, I don't know if you've seen there's these clips going around of him going in at players on training grounds, chucking some out of training. Also, there's been other clips going around. Highly passionate, high intensity kind of character who has very high standards in training, and he seems to like a bit of tough love. Seems to be his approach. Given that he's coming into a dressing room right now, which couldn't be any lower in confidence, seems to be every time something goes wrong, they all have their heads down. What kind of reaction do you think the squad will have to a character like De Zerbi entering the dressing room? Will they take to him immediately, or do they need a more of an arm around the shoulder?
Yeah, well, this is why I said this is very high risk, giving him a 5-year contract and him coming in a very serious relegation crisis at Spurs. We're in a serious mess at the moment. Mm-hmm. It's very high risk because some of the players, I think, will really like that. They'll embrace the realism of the man and the football that he wants to play. There'll be some that say, yes, finally. But there's going to be others that are just, who are you, mate? What have you ever done? Who are you talking to like that? So it's gonna split the dressing room. There's no way that method resonates with every different personality in the club, which is why everyone's been saying, and I agree with it. We need someone that's going to come in and put an arm around them, give them confidence, give them self-belief, tell them they're not shit like everyone's told them, tell them that they can do better, that they are superstars, but do it in a way that isn't, super fake, but in a way where they buy into it, which is why Harry Redknapp seemed like such a good idea. De Zerbi, has he got that ability to pivot as a manager just for 2 months and be that guy just to keep us up and then go into proper De Zerbi mode once we're safe? That's the risk, because that's what he's going to have to do. Because if he doesn't do that, I don't see how the team will suddenly unite behind him. Because there's characters in that dressing room that aren't going to have it.
Which players do you think will flourish the most under Roberto De Zerbi?
The Italians.
Who are these? What, Vicario?
Vicario.
I don't know. Vicario, I think he's going to be one of the losers under De Zerbi because I just don't think he's going to have the playing out the back.
I think the youngsters will flourish. I think the youngsters will flourish because youngsters are more open-minded and opened to new ideas, and they're just craving learning. I think the players that are stuck in their ways, they're probably going to be the most challenging. In terms of individual players, it's so hard to tell because we've got no idea where these players' heads are at. Because we start games and you think, okay, yeah, they're on board, they're doing well. But as soon as we concede a goal, they all look like they don't want to be at the club. They look like they hate the manager. They look like they hate the fans. They look like they hate life. It's just, you've got no idea psychologically where any of these players are at. You know, Archie Gray probably looks like the only one that keeps giving it his all non-stop for a whole game regardless. He seems, one of the standout players that are hungry to get out of this mess. As for the rest, they all have patchy moments. 1 minute you think, okay, they're tuned in. Then 10 minutes later, you're watching them and you're thinking, why are you walking? Why can't you pass the ball 5 yards? What's happened in the space of 10 minutes? One minute Vicario's making world-class saves. Next minute he can't catch a ball and he's gifting chances to the opposition. But they're all like that. They've all kind of been very up and down. So I don't know, Ben. I don't know which players. Because it's easy for me to say Romero's not going to be happy with De Zerbi. Romero's going to flip out on De Zerbi and they're going to have a bust up. But at the same time, Romero might respect that fiery, passionate, Mediterranean kind of temperament because Romero's like that. He's Latino. He's exactly the same. He might respect it. He might say, yeah, you're like my dad. I love that. So you don't know. Like, I've got no idea how they'll respond. I do think the youngsters will probably lean towards him because if you look at De Zerbi's track record, he's done quite well with young players. He's not too bad with young players. So I would lean towards the younger players buying into him more than the rest early on.
And with the play style being so drastic to what we've seen from Frank and Tudor, you say you think it might take maybe a few weeks to fully implement, but it's well documented that a lot of these players really liked what kind of Ange tried to do anyway, his intent, his style of play. So De Zerbi going a bit closer back to that, you think the players are going to buy into it immediately in terms of, okay, wow, now we're going to go, now we're going to be attacking. Like, do you think there's going to be a bit of a breath of fresh air around the training ground due to him just trying to put a bit more attacking intent into his team?
Yes, but when it goes wrong, what's the response going to be? Because we are terrible at playing out from the back. Vicario can't do it. Like, Vicario cannot play out from the back. And then you've got two centre-backs.
But first season under Ange, he wasn't awful at it.
Yeah, but look at them right now. He's not suddenly going to be capable. And even under Ange, Vicario was suspect. Vicario always got away with it because he was because he's an excellent shot stopper. But take that away from Vicario, he's all over the place. Unless he drops him and says, do you know what? I quite like Brandon Austin. His all-round game's not too bad. Let's give him a go. I'm still not confident on all of our midfielders dropping deep and receiving the ball on the half turn. The best player at that is Bissouma. Was Bissouma at Brighton when De Zerbi was there?
No.
De Zerbi came just after he joined us.
Oh, that would have been interesting actually. That might have been good for Bissouma, but if he wasn't, then yeah.
He did manage Manuel Solomon at Shakhtar.
Yeah, but Solomon's not here right now. If we're talking about the relegation, because Sim's
I'm
asking about
for the future,
the short term. I don't think we're going to suddenly start playing well out from the back early on. I don't see it. I simply don't see it. I do see us keeping possession of the ball more early on, because if you just run more possession-based drills and you run more attacking plays with a focus on just keeping the ball, then possession will go up naturally, because the possession was 10% higher under Ange compared to Frank and Tudor. So, and Ange ran a lot of possession-based drills. So I think possession will go up. I think we will be more attacking. I think we will take more shots and be a bit more risky up front. But I think defensively, we're going to be more suspect, which is, well, when I say more suspect, we're already suspect. I don't think that will improve. I don't think the back will improve anytime soon. I think attacking-wise, yeah, you might see a greater uplift earlier on. But then the concern is, who's going to put the ball in the back of the net? We've still got that problem of we don't have goal scorers in this team.
Yeah.
So even if we are more attacking, are we going to put the ball in the back of the net? I'm not convinced, guys. Because no matter how much people want to praise Matthias Tell, he doesn't score. Richarlison, he's patchy. Solanke's patchy. We don't have anyone on the right that can score. Maybe under De Zerbi, this will be the moment finally Xavi Simons clicks into gear. That could be the big one to look at, because he can score. He's a player that knows where the back of the net is, but he hasn't been properly unlocked by Frank and Tudor. Maybe, guys, actually, that's the one we need to look at. Is this now the moment where we finally see Xavi Simons begin to step up, and that could be the difference between relegation and staying up?
Yeah, no, I think Xavi's going to be massive. Xavi's going to be massive. And I think his development is going to be massive under De Zerbi. But we don't have time to, players take time to develop, don't they? Particularly the younger ones like Attell and everyone like that. So I don't think De Zerbi is going to come straight in and go full throttle De Zerbi ball. I think it's going to be a process where he might have to do a bit of give and take from now to the end of the season. But then next season you'll see it in full flight. But Stel.
But that's not De Zerbi. De Zerbi doesn't do that, though.
I know, but we're 1 point away from relegation. There's 7 games to go. Like, there has to be.
Yeah, but then you might as well bring in a pragmatic manager or someone that's going to be less gung-ho and less full throttle. Listen, the way I look at it is this, okay? The way I look at it is this. We need, let's say, 2 wins. Let's say if we get 2 wins, that does it. Let's just go on that assumption. Big assumption, but let's assume 2 wins and we're safe. What are your highest chances of getting 2 wins? By being ultra defensive and hoping you don't concede and focusing on counter-attacks, focusing primarily on set pieces, or just going for it, just going all-out attack, to hell with defence, Ange Postecoglou style, because this balance isn't going to happen overnight. We've got to pick one method to win 2 games the next 7. I don't think the counter-attacking one is the one to go with, because you're limited as to how many attacking opportunities you're going to create, and you've got to be clinical on the few chances you create.
I think it might have to be a balance, not all one way, not all.
We're not going to get that though.
We're
not going to get. We're not going to get that in 7 games. The other option is you focus on set pieces, right, guys? Every time we get a throw in, every time we get a corner, let's just do what Arsenal do: practice them. But then you need excellent deliveries of the ball each time. So for me, I would just go gung ho and say, do you know what? To hell with it. Screw the defensive duties. Let's just suffocate the other team. High press, high intensity, shoot on sight, and just all out carpet bomb it. Just go ballistic and hope we land something. And if we do that for 7 games, maybe you pick off 2 wins. So what I'm trying to say is, maybe just going full throttle De Zerbi ball from day one
is the way to go.
Might be, yeah. Because think about it. We need a strategy. It's too late to try and play based on what the opposition do with 7 games to go. We're not going to find balance in 7 games. And if we go ultra defensive, we saw what that was like under Frank. It was a disaster.
Yeah.
I think just go all out attack, throw the kitchen sink at it. If you lose 4-0, you lose 4-0, because maybe you win 2 games 1-0, and that's all you need. So if you were to lose 4-0, 4-0, 4-0, 5-1, but you win 2 games 2-1 or 1-0, that's all you need. So maybe just do that. Maybe that is the approach. Maybe De Zerbi needs to come in and say, right, we're just going to go absolutely ballistic every game and just be all-out attack for 7 games. Maybe that is the approach.
Maybe the muscle memory of Ange Ball a year ago might help with that. like because they've done a lot of that. A lot of these players have been part of a team who like to play that way as well. So it's not like it's completely alien to them.
Maybe the ghost of Ange needs to return through the soul of De Zerbi.
Wait, Stel, last question. He signed a 5-year deal, De Zerbi. How many years does he see out of the contract? What's your prediction? De Zerbi bingo.
I'm going to say he won't be here in 2028.
2028.
That's quite a long tenure for him, to be fair.
Not bad. 2.5 years. 2.5 years.
That's my prediction.
Longer since Redknapp. No, Poch. Yeah.
That's actually a very long tenure for a Spurs manager. But so we'll see what happens, Stel. But thank you for coming on today, my friend.
Guys, appreciate it. And Delegation squad. Choo choo.
Keep enjoying the sunshine, Stel. Big up to you.